Oliver, what's up? Can you let me know if you hear the music and if it's at an okay level? Let me know. Yeah. How do I sound, by the way? Does this mic sound good? Sorry, guys, this is the first time live streaming it up here. We got a little kid in the office. He'll be on Robinhood in no time. Oh yeah, JS, we're gonna look into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, bros. Ah, don't you love being a part of Bitcoin? Guys, don't you love underperforming? You know? Oh man. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so basically, I'm trying to work on my personal brand, right? If we're being honest. And I'm thinking to myself going into 2026, like, what are the things people want to see? Like, what are the things you guys want to see? And making videos is fine or whatever, but it's just fucking another video, right? And I just feel like I'm better at riffing and conversing with people and stuff. So I want to have more intention with like live videos and how, I don't know, how I could see that going forward. Because like I used to day trade, right? But I can't day trade on my screen with you guys. I left my firm. I don't day trade anymore. I might trade perps. I might make swing trades. I might do whatever, and I'm willing to talk about those. But I can't like actually show order books and stuff like I used to. But I feel like there's some sort of live connection. I want to develop an audience that like you guys can ask questions, I can give my feedback or whatever, because I do have a lot of opinions loosely held, including Bitcoin going to 700,000 by the end of 2028. We'll see about that one, you know. We'll see about that one. So yeah, if you guys are here, I'd love for you to ask. I kind of want to focus maybe on what are you seeing right now? Like what things are you seeing in the markets that are like really interesting to you? What are you allocated towards? Like timing wise, could be crypto, could be TradFi. And how do you see things playing out here in the next 3 6 months? Because it's tricky. It's a really tricky time period. Um, and the story you could tell yourself on either side is you could tell good stories right now. And yeah. Bitcoin. So yeah, let's bring up some charts. All right. All right. The Bitcoin chart. Hmm. First of all, it's pretty amazing what we've seen in Bitcoin. You know what I mean? October 6th, to now. We're still down almost 30% in 2 months. Pretty savage. The spit up any narrative you want, right? You have a lot of OG sell pressure. There's obviously that. You've had inflows slow down from ETS. You've had a lot of uncertainty geopolitically. You've had real interest rates. Global Flows has done a good job talking about how real interest rates affect Bitcoin. And you could go watch, I can't remember which video it was, but you could go watch some of his stuff on why that's generally been why Bitcoin has been underperforming, and then it kind of just cascaded on itself because timing wise, right? It happened to be where a lot of people are looking. They're waiting at the exit of a party, right? They've been at a party. It's been fucking good party, and they're waiting for the exit door. And what I really find interesting is the thought that if we're able to base here in Bitcoin and actually move up into January, right? Imagining getting up into January and February and making an all-time high. I really want to see, and I tweeted this the other day, like that would put a lot of people in a blender, right? Because all the people who are bearish and do think the cycle's over and are protected, if they see Bitcoin price move up um, for a whole host of reasons and they get to 125K, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? You know what I mean? And I really want to see that. I want to be fascinated by that. Um, so yeah, anyways, chart wise, right? Like if you want to talk about Bitcoin being bullish, first, like we got to see some levels get reclaimed, right? Like we need to get back to we got to get back to like the 50-day moving average or whatever. We got to reclaim this trend line. We got to get back above 100,000, right? And prior to that, 108,000 was like my line in the sand for being super important. And I want to see some of these levels get reclaimed before I get super excited. Now, I'm in some chats where they're not excited. They are cycles over, um, pretty much selling every short, moving to stables, packing it up, going on vacations, eating the holiday cookies, blah, blah, blah. Oliver says, he's seeing a lot of uncertainty with the new Fed chair. I agree. It's pretty obvious, like Hassett's like it's probably going to be it for now, unless something goes drastically wrong there, which you never know with Trump, right? Like Hassett could be his favorite guy, and then one day that could change. If there's one thing I learned from reading the Jared Kushner book, it's that Trump does take in a lot of suggestions from people, but he's willing to change his mind literally up until the last second for anything. So, you could again, there's always arguments to both sides of whether or not Hassett's going to be beneficial. It seems to be that way, right? But like, at what point might markets price that in? Maybe not. Maybe markets aren't going to like Hassett coming in there and cutting rates. Maybe that brings problems at the long end. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to look at the tape. I'm trying to look at charts to be like, okay, if my bias is towards this, I at least want to see the price like give me some signs that I'm looking in the right direction. Right? I'm not a chartist. I'm not some macro dude, right? I'm not Global Flows, shout out. I'm not that. But I am good at curating a lot of stuff towards myself and to other people and trying to put together some sort of book. I like to look at it as like chapters to a book, and if I could develop a story in some sort of fashion that way, could be good trades, right? And then I look for asymmetry with good risk reward, and I try to keep it simple. Because the more I try to be fancy, the more I try to get smart. I put out that video the other day that was basically like left curve trading, right? That's where I want to live. Every time I try to go right curve, I end up in I mid curve it, right? I just gotta dumb it down. All right, Ben Love. Yeah, Oliver Allen, by the way, yeah, the music is from this AI, royalty-free AI place. So like it's all like AI generated music. Nice little vibe. Hey, hey, see, this is left curve trading, guys. You want right curve trading? Go to capitalflowsresearch.com and subscribe. But if you want to vibe out to AI music and just yell Bitcoin to the moon, hey, I'm your guy. All right, so anyways, Ben Love. I'm long BTC and love the story and principle. However, there are a couple things that concern me. And I'd like if you could add some color. Let's see. Oh, he's talking about Bitcoin Core. Hold on here. Bitcoin Core allows non-financial data to be transmitted on the network. I believe up to 100. Oh boy, yeah. If you're getting into the core versus knots thing, look, I'm an idiot. I don't know. My inclination is that it's just all a bunch of shit I don't need to worry about. I feel like we've had a lot of this stuff in the past, and in the grand scheme of things, I'm more focused on just like, is there money coming in? Is the hash rate good? Is there more attention or less attention? What levels are we at? What's my risk reward? Like if I get too deep in the weeds here, nerding out on like soft forks and these wars of these guys, I don't fucking know, dude. It just pisses me off, and I just want to go run in the canyon and you know fuck around. So I don't have any opinion on that. I'm sure it is a big concern, and I will hope that my ability to put the pieces together would help me if I realized there was some huge issue, allocate accordingly or exit accordingly or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Brian Harrington. Hey, Ben, you're a nerd and nobody cares about knots for a score. Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. Shout out to Brian, by the way. If you guys don't follow him, go to Brian Harrington on YouTube. He's doing a great job of what I like is that you now know him as the Bitcoin income guy. You know what I mean? Like, what are the different ways you can use Bitcoin to supplement your income? How can you live on a bit more of like a real life Bitcoin standard, if you will, but not a Bitcoin standard? Yeah. So a lot of great videos there. Chill guy, Southern California guy. Ben loved all the on-chain data is public, making every transaction public, ruining privacy. I don't know the privacy thing, man. Like that's just another thing where I feel like that's why I trade Zcash. Like we can go look at Zcash too if you want. Um, my answer, by the way, for going into the weekend is I don't know what Bitcoin's going to do. I'm just going to hope we hold 80K. If we go below 80K, like oof. Let's go find Zcash real quick. So Zcash has been performing pretty well. It's become one of those like anti-trades, right? It's like Bitcoin goes down, Zcash goes up, Zcash goes down, Bitcoin goes up type of thing. I don't know. This to me screams like desperation, like the privacy thing. Like it's always been a thing. Um, why now? Is it really because like the suits are coming in and like the Zcash is about what Bitcoin was really about? This is the true thing. And Naval talked about it, and now Tim Ferriss is on it. And Mert doesn't care about Solana anymore. He's just a Zcash shiller and all the big names. It's like fucking sidelined, whatever. I don't know, man. Zcash is whatever. I just feel like it's a narrative. I'm gonna trade it. Do I want to hold some Zcash forever? Maybe. You know. Do I think it just take like I just think it's a distraction and people looking for something to grab onto because nothing else has been working. Like, guys, do you realize, like, if you're in crypto, I can't believe I have money left. I am so proud of myself. Like, do you know how many people have gotten taken to the absolute laundromat cleaners this cycle? Like, the only people who are still here are like inside information extractors, Bitcoin maxis, maybe me. Like nobody's left. crypto industry is fucking like a graveyard. Like nobody has money, and they're like, oh, the privacy thing. That's gonna be the one that takes us out of the fucking trenches. It's gonna save our bags, you know? No. And like good luck trading this fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like if you bought it, like if you hopped on the narrative when it was going from like 28 to 80 or so, when Naval tweeted about it and Mert tweeted about it, it was breaking out from that long consolidation. If you got out and you're on size and you have some bag you want to hold, go for it. But like to start actively trading it now, I don't know. Maybe make a 1% allocation and shut up, you know? But I bet you the privacy meta dies quick. We'll see. We shall see. All right. And third, by Ben Love, his other concern, because every transaction is traceable means Bitcoin isn't necessarily fungible. If a state actor, principal enterprise, I mean, again, it's the same. It's the same thing. It just feels like another piece of like, if this, if that, state actors, psyops, whatever. Like again, I try to dumb it down and try to be like, do I just think this is going to be a outperforming asset in a world of currencies being debased? And you know, my mind, we've had a lot of talks about this, by the way, is like, you know, maybe I and a lot of other people are allocated too much to Bitcoin. Should we be so overexposed to it? Will it do well? Because I had a really interesting conversation with Global Flows about this, where he really kind of opened my perspective up to in different regimes, like in different outcomes here moving forward. Like take gold against Bitcoin. Gold can do well on like the tails of multiple regimes, right? It could do well in kind of what we're in now when everything's doing well, liquidity is advantageous, the Fed's doing whatever, the Treasury's doing whatever, central banks are buying gold, like all that. It can do well there, but it can also do well in a really risk-off environment. It's had multiple times where it's been able to prove that, right? But Bitcoin has basically never proven to do that well in risk-off scenarios. It can sense liquidity, obviously, and like rocket it out of the 2020 bottom and all that. But in an event of massive liquidation and selling, the Bitcoin left tail is pretty brutal. And I think we just think that it could like live on, like if everything else fell apart, do you really think Bitcoin could prove itself to be like a risk-off asset in a regime that's not beneficial with like ample liquidity? If not, being overexposed to it's a little bit scary in my eyes. But I don't know. That's how I think about things. Ben, you shout out to you. You clearly know a bunch more about Bitcoin technically than I do. I don't know. I love how you guys are battling in the comments though. You need to personally focus on making more money than overthinking every aspect of Bitcoin. Maybe so. Capital Flows is a book lover. Mark White, either higher or lower high or higher for Bitcoin incoming. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Let's take a look at MSTR real quick. One of my favorites. Go to the weekly chart here. I don't know if you guys are Sailor lovers or haters. I'm a lover. I'm a lover. But you can't tell me that this doesn't look like a just great spot. With all the like Bitcoin Treasury FUD, the oh my God, Michael Saylor's gonna get liquidated. He can't afford to pay his dividend payments that are fucking nothing. Tether FUD, Bitcoin down 30%. I mean, MSTR is down like 60%. The red bubbles here on the weekly make me want to be super long. MSTR. I think it's one of the best trades out there. And I also like all their preferred products. Again, if you want to learn more about the preferreds, you can either go watch Brian Harrington's channel, where he talks a decent amount about those, or join his Discord. We discuss those a lot. Or go watch anything Fong Lee's done recently, or Saylor's done recently. But the Q3 earnings report was very much all about these things, and you can learn about them. But they're not going insolvent, guys. They are heavily, heavily, heavily asset to debt rich. I think they have 60 billion under assets under management, and I think 14 billion of total debt, including the cheap debt they had that runs out in 2028, and then the 6 or 7 billion worth of preferreds that they have done. So I think they're at like a 5-to-1 sort of asset to total debt ratio, and they just raised 1.4 billion in cash so that they could shut everybody the fuck up about the dividend payments. I think they're doing all the right things, and maybe even they were basically forced to do that in order to get some S&P inclusion or whatever. I don't know what's going on down there in Florida. You know, Saylor lives not too far from the old Trumpers, so I don't know what kind of conversations are happening, but I like it. I love Stretch. I love Strife. I love Strike. I like Stride. Just saying. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, we're suffering, Brian. I mean, like, what do you want, man? We're trying over here. We're trying to be crypto bros and support the ecosystem. But what even is money? Yeah. By the way, if you guys want like a fun old school Michael Saylor video to watch, go to episode 4 of the Saylor series with Robert Breedlove from like 2021 or something. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Oliver did kind of almost kiss 150, right? But at this point, I'm not getting fancy, right? You see something like this, I built my bullshit thesis, and it is what it is. I'm gonna buy, right? So I bought some January 2028 MSTR calls for 440, I believe. So somewhere up in this range. A lot of time. I think it's gonna pay off. I don't even like buying options anymore. All I do is lose on options, but sometimes when they're super long dated, I don't mind. Those like 3, 6, 9 month options, man, they're so attractive, but I just get wrecked. Brian, brainstorm live about Strike. How does the convert work between Strike and MSTR Common, and how can buying Strike be better than buying MSTR Common? That's a good question. I don't necessarily know if one is better than the other. I also don't know, like, would it even be best? Will people convert it? Like, if the common's so cheap now, wouldn't you just buy the common? Do you really want, like, what are your goals? Do you want yield along the way? How correlated to MSTR and Bitcoin do you want to be? Uh, I don't know. I just think as interest rates go down, that as like the dividends keep paying out and the credit rating keeps getting stronger for, well, they don't even have credit ratings, these, but as the credit FUD and the like uncertainty around MSTR heals, and interest rates go down, and the yield becomes more attractive, and more money flows into that, and MSTR price goes up, I feel like that compression on bond yields in general will make Stretch, Stripe, or not Stretch, Stripe, Strike, Stride all rocket. I think they'll all double. Not double, maybe not double, but like at least go up 50%, 100%. And Stride will probably go up, probably double. So Stride and Strike, I think. I think there's some of the best bets out there. I really do. And just go look at like, I always think of risk reward first too, right? Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But whatever. Sometimes you just got to take a bet. I mean, ooh, look at that. We'll put a price alert on that. So I'm mostly in stretch now when it comes to the preferreds, but like if there is something that, if Bitcoin looks like it's going to break back above 95 and 100, if this breaks, if MSTR is catching a bid, well, maybe I want to move my stretch into strike thinking I can outperform. But I got to be careful because the interesting thing about living in California with stretch is like the tax benefits of stretch with a sizable position is so strong that I better be sure uh, that I really want to move it. This Ben Love guy sounds like he just like wants to be completely self-sovereign. I don't. Give me more fiat system, baby. I love my daddy Bassett. Bank of America. Call me Chucky Schwab, the way I be on those suits. Yeah, Brian, like that the strategy prefers attacking money markets and all that stuff. Like, yeah, I agree. It's like, but what are the battles happening that we don't ever find out about, you know? Like, we just know so little. It's crazy. By the way, real quick, I have this my Twitter feed up there under my video, and I just have my bookmarks, which I don't know if you guys bookmark stuff, but I bookmark a shit ton. And sometimes I just like going through. And this is one of like the best charts that Capital Flows put out there. And it's like the current account in white has gone off cliff, which is dragging a lot more capital into the US. And so if you go to his account and you can see that like uh, the last time that this happened, we had a lot of money flowing into the US as well. So as long as that's going down, I think we could start to see that kind of last expression of the upside before the downside. Really interested to see what happens here into quarter one. A lot of people just think stocks are distributing and going to roll over, and I don't know if I agree with that. I think we go higher everywhere. There's some big CFTC stuff that was beneficial for spot trading crypto, and also we had a Vanguard allow crypto trading. Yeah, a nice chart here. I'll just go through a couple of these. Nice chart here by Felix from Blockworks, where retail sales was like looking huge, but if you adjust that for inflation after 2021, or actually, it's just everything's just more fucking expensive. Oliver, my stretch position is doing great. I mean, I bought my big chunk at 100, so that's down a couple percent. But we also then bought at 92, I think 92.50. I bought a big chunk, so that's clearly doing nice. Yeah, Oliver has a good point there. The cash reserve is like it's so they did it in 8 days, right? Such high volume trading that they were able to raise that amount of cash using, I think, 1.5% or something of total trading volume, or I don't remember what it was. They talked about it. Pretty crazy. Michael John Fox, did you see the front page of the FT today? First of all, no, I don't like look at that stuff really. Maybe if it pops onto Twitter. U.S. stocks set for double-digit gains in 2026, says Wall Street Banks. I think it's pretty consensus market bids next year. Yeah, I'm gonna be one for consensus. I will take that bet. I think we go higher. Here's the thing. I think the markets are going to go way higher. Like way high, way high. Like I think S&P 500 is going to go above 8, 9,000. I think Nasdaq's going 30, 40,000. before we end this regime. Let's go take a look at gold. Let me get rid of these dots here. Only really applicable in certain. Gold is one of the best looking charts I've ever fucking seen. I don't even own gold, but wow. One of the things I learned from a long time of trading is like, just on that note of everything going higher, is like I just feel like people don't think big. They don't think of what's possible. And I try to think of. I saw a clip of something the other day that was such a good clip from a movie, but it's about this guy was like, you need to think of every single outcome possible so that when any of those outcomes happen, it's not surprising to you. And I don't think anybody thinks about Bitcoin going to 700,000 in 2 years. I don't think they think about in a liquid gap because there's some sort of gamma squeeze and they can't dilute the stock of Bitcoin that doesn't exist. Like they don't think about what's possible. I was there 2017 trading Bitcoin in a hotel room in Vegas when it was gapping up to 20K. And nobody even thought that was going to happen, right? So I like to game plan. So when I think about NASDAQ and S&P and Russell and stuff like that, sure, we could just trudge higher and it could go up another 10%. It could go down 10% next year. But nobody's thinking about it going up 50%, right? Yet when you go look back at like 1998, 1999 or whatever, they were just fucking ripping to the upside before the catastrophic down move. So I'm just saying like it's possible, you know? Like why can't gold go to 10,000? Why can't gold could drop back to 3,200 and still be in like a structural bull market, right? Gold could drop literally back to the breakout. I mean, let's go look at the breakout. Look at this thing. I mean, I had this written. This was in, this breakout happened April of 2024. So a year and a half ago, so. Up 108%. So like, you know, it's so possible that like this rolls over. You know, like who's ready for this? Who is ready for a gold bull market like that? And the thing is, like with the craziness of like and the narrative shifting and the fast money, like nothing would shock me anymore. Do you think Peter Schiff is ready to see gold drop to $2,200 and then go to 10,000? Like just thinking about that, right? Like even if you're bullish gold, if it drops to 3,500 and you buy, like, are you buying to hold for 10 years or are you buying as a trade? Like, do you have a good process for a stop loss there? When will you give up to be wrong? Because it could go all the way to 2,200 and still be bullish. Like, what's your game plan here? I just can't wait for gold to go down like 20% or 10%, and everybody's gonna be like, gold trade's over. You know, they're gonna forget about it when it's still like in a bull market. I don't know. I haven't touched gold yet, really, just because like it's just so hard for me to like pull the trigger up here on that. I also think people don't spend enough time understanding the mechanics, microstructure of the market too. Yeah, I mean, me neither. Me neither, bro. Nobody knows where their money is or why it's there or like how passive is impacting things or what high frequency is doing or how AI is affecting the market. I fucking know, man. Nobody knows. The thing about BTC is that we've had a flood of great news over the last year, yet the price action has been horrendous. Hard to imagine we get to 700K easily unless government just bids it up. So I don't know if you've heard you probably haven't heard my 700K thesis, but it's not necessarily like we just stair step up to 700K in a couple of years. It's illiquid scenario based on some other factors. So it's more of like a trudge to 180 to 200 to 220, and then it's a finisher move of like a gamma squeeze through all of the derivative products into an illiquid market where nobody's on chain and like working orders and stuff. And I feel like people think that's impossible because it's such like trillions of dollars of market cap, but I just disagree. After what I've seen in gold, I think it can't happen here in a $2 trillion asset, not even two. I mean, gold has made what 12, 14 trillion dollars in market cap in a year and a half. So yeah, I don't think it's easy to get to 700K. It's just a thesis it's a possibility I have on my wide number of outcomes, you know. And yeah, I mean, like the thing is, you could say the price action's been horrendous, right? But like, but just like 60 days ago, everything seemed all good and it all made sense. So like, until 60 days ago, it'd be hard to say price action's been horrendous, you know? If we if we cut off uh, if we cut off this little part here, you would probably say price action's been pretty good. Price discovery soon. So like, while I agree with you, at a certain point, I also think I'm getting psyoped into trying to sell my coins, which I don't want to do. Uh, yeah, Josh Mandel, 444K guy. So that's an interesting one, right? Because he got famous, he got all this clout for calling 84K last year sometime, and then kind of went on this thing. He's a really smart dude and really cryptic, and like I like listening to him sometimes. um, there's a lot of issues with that guy, but he is very well off. Losing a couple $1 million to him is not a big deal. He's got a ton of accounts. He's posted a lot of screenshots before. I think he was just taking flyers, right? Because like anybody, if you have this strong belief and thesis and you have this asymmetric outcome, and it's going to cost you 2 million out of the 50 million he might have to make hundreds of millions, I don't blame him, man. And we all troll him or whatever, but like I don't know. I think it's kind of a baller move. Just had a talk about this with Global Flows this morning. We chatted about like stories and you know people just going for it, full sending it, right? Sailor is a guy who is full sending on Bitcoin at the age of whatever, almost 60 years old. It's pure focus, full send, almost like a binary outcome, right? He's either going to be one of the most rich and powerful people in the world, or this will kind of probably be a failed experiment in a way, if these preferred products and stuff don't work out. And he's done that his whole career, and that story is just so much more interesting than like anything else, really. And the Josh thing is a similar thing. Like I think the Josh Mandel story is just like so entertaining and so great, and that's why I think he gets a lot of clout. People, you know, you're only as good as your last trade, though, right? Online, you live and die by the last trade, and he died. He died. What up, Steve? Puerto Rico. Yeah, Ben, I kind of agree, but you could argue that there's been a decent amount of participation in retail. Remember the people, the lines of people going to buy their gold. But I do think gold is still like criminally underallocated to, most likely, most commodities, I guess. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Generally speaking, everything else looks like pretty good to me, right? Like I think the Russell is gonna go make an all-time high pretty soon. Like I think this is gonna break out and go on a run, and I think it's gonna bring crypto with it. I think the VIX is gonna stay low. And we've had multiple get rid of that. Let's go down to the daily here. You know, multiple attempts to sell the VIX, buy risk assets. That's worked out. Um, you know, we saw the crazy tariff tantrum. We saw the Japanese yen unwind bullshit in August of 2024. But since then, you know, had some of these scares, like they've been good buying opportunities for a lot of assets, except recently for Bitcoin. I have not read Burry's letter when he left his hedge fund. What did it say? What did it say? Ethereum's an interesting one. I just can't wrap my head around. Like when I look at the chart, I'm like, it looks pretty good. Like if you think we're in a bullish kind of crypto setup, I'm like Ethereum looks kind of nice. I think it's weird because it doesn't really make money, but I don't know, man. Maybe it just has enough buy-in from powerful people and the staking mechanism that it'll do fine. And maybe price will eventually drive and there'll all of a sudden in the back end there'll be some useful, globally used stablecoin apps or something that drive money to the base layer. I don't know. Okay, so he said, my estimation of value in securities is not now and has never for some time been in sync with the markets. Yeah, I mean, whatever, right? I just did a video that I'm going to put out either today or tomorrow on famous iconic quotes from legendary investors over time. And there's like uh, Howard Marks one, I believe, where he's talking about like you can be early, but eventually you're wrong, or like at some point you're wrong, you know. Um, at this point, like Burry's going back to stories. Burry's just a good storyteller, and he's so good at storytelling that like I don't know, like it's amazing to me how much like people still sit on that guy, and want to be that guy after so long, like of clearly not performing that well. He shut down his fund to open up a Substack and becomes one of the top Substacks. He's essentially like an author, like a financial author in my eyes. And like part of it must be due to like the K-shaped economy, right? And like nihilism, and people want to see the world burn so that they could have a chance to be like the boomers, you know? Yeah, the movie helped too, of course. Movie helped too. Neos just released an ETH covered call fund. You should become the ETH income guy. Nah, fuck that. No, thank you. No, thanks. Need a hyperliquid covered call fund. I'll be the hyperliquid guy. I find it so funny that, well, hypothetically, if I were to trade on hyperliquid, if it were available in America, I would probably find myself trading a lot of stocks on there because now you can trade most of the Mag 7s and more on hyperliquid uh, with leverage. And like, I just find it funny that after all these years, come full circle to trading traditional stocks on chain. Like, what are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? Yeah, I don't know. I think Hyperliquid's a great product. Where it goes from here, who knows? I think it'll do well, but we'll see. You never know. Yeah, let me know if there's any other charts you guys want me to look at. Otherwise, in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna shut this guy down. But like, generally speaking, the Mag 7 stocks look great. Like Hood, God, like this chart, man, this one pisses me off because I was looking at this dip over here. I drew this line and I was like, I wish on Hyperliquid they had, again, allegedly, I would theoretically take a perp leverage long on Hyperliquid down here, but they didn't have it available, and it has bounced 30% off the lows, which is pretty wild. I think Tesla is something that's going to run hard once it breaks this high. It's another one. I call this the Cybertruck pattern, the upside down Cybertruck pattern. But I think once this goes above 500, it's going to go very quickly to like 800 or 900. Could be one of those uncorrelated things too. I just feel like Tesla has a lot of pent up momentum. And as robotaxis roll out more and more cities and there's more like viral moments about that. I think we're going to see something special there. Yeah. Coinbase not looking great. Could be a really good opportunity around here. I don't know. Brian Armstrong's such a good plant in the administration that could probably bet on him to do pretty well. I like Nvidia. I like Nvidia around here. Google. Wow. Why trade crypto when you could trade the most boring, good businesses in the world, and now you can trade them with leverage? Why trade a meme coin? Yeah, yeah, Ben, you're right. He's a staple name of being pessimistic. Bears sound smart, bulls get wealthy over time. People want to rationalize why they underperform, calling everything as a bubble is comforting. Yep. To me, it's like another way of not taking responsibility. I keep coming back to this, but I feel like nobody wants to take responsibility for their financial decisions or mishaps or whatever. It's the same thing with when I ask people IRL, like, where's your money? And they're like, oh, no, I don't really know. There's a guy that I call once every 6 months, and he kind of says like, oh, you're doing okay. They don't want to know. They don't want to know where their money is because then it might lead to them having to have some responsibility. If it does poorly, there's always this bailout subconsciously of like, this guy's been managing my money. Like he screwed me over. When in reality, like nobody wants to just take control of their own finances and live and die by the sword. It's hard. Strategy Chainlink crossover in the near future. Interesting. Yeah, I am wondering. I am wondering if strategy's cooking some stuff on the back end. I don't know if you saw that clip where they were talking about banks. They've been having conversations with banks and like borrowing and lending out of their stockpile and stuff. Like something's up there, and I think it could be a good thing. If they're working with banks, like I think at this point, like again, look at the price of MSTR. The official 6-7 coin. Oh my God, that's funny. Dude, these kids around here, the suburbs of San Diego, this is like, it's constant. They just never shut the fuck up about it. Ugh. You know? How tall are you? I don't know. I'm like 6'7". How down bad are you in Bitcoin? I don't know. 6, 7 figures? What Bitcoin price target you looking at? I don't know. 700,000? What do you need to suck on? I don't know. 6, 7 and D's nuts? That's your name, by the way. D's nuts. So shout out. Yeah. Anyways, I hope this is fun. I hope the music was kind of chill. And if you guys like this type of thing, let me know. I'd also love to have Brian or Oliver or one of you guys come on, do this live thing, do this kind of hangout and interact with people that are following us and build everything together. But I like doing this. Clearly, I can riff around, especially if we have people interacting and doing questions. Yeah, these nuts, let me know when that coin does well. My guess is that you're not doing that well in it, like every other coin. Got to tell a better story. Be Michael Burry. Tell a better story, you know? Anyways, thanks for coming on, guys. I'm going to cut it here. I think I'll do this again next week sometime.